Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So as I'm recording this video, this information that I'm presenting to you is actually fresh off the press. 3 minutes ago, the Battlefield community Twitter tweeted out a slew of threads going over some weapon changes and some vehicle changes. And upon initial impression, these changes are actually very good. So without further ado, let's jump into the content. If you enjoy the videos, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. You might think you're subscribed to the channel, but you actually aren't. So if you watch the videos all the time, just make sure you're subscribed. It only takes one click. And of course, hit the follow button on my Twitch channel. First link in the description. I stream every single day. The first thread that DICE has tweeted out is actually a dev note thread on the state of weapons for Battlefield 2042 Season 7, and it claims that they're going to, quote, shift the meta balance between weapon categories. Unfortunately, because of the wording of this paragraph from DICE, people are misinterpreting this to be a blanket time to kill change for all weapons in the game. Let me just guarantee you guys right now, that is not what they are saying. So do not misinterpret this as a blanket time to kill change. This is not Battlefield 5 Update 5.2 all over again. The time to kill that they are referring to in this paragraph is the absolute fastest possible time you can die in. And DICE is actually aiming to make that time longer, meaning you die less fast, by addressing headshot multipliers. As some of you might know, the headshot multipliers in Battlefield 2042 have been insanely out of whack for a very long time. The AR headshot multiplier is 2.15, and the submachine gun headshot multiplier is 1.25. So there's a wide variety, and ARs pretty much insta-kill you if they hit a headshot in gunfights, which feels really bad, and that is what DICE is aiming to change with these updates. After these changes go live, submachine guns will now benefit from a 1.55x headshot multiplier, and ARs will go from a 2.15x to a 1.9x headshot multiplier. And the same goes for LMGs. So what they're doing is they're making SMGs kill slightly faster with headshots in CQC, and making ARs and LMGs kill slightly slower with lower headshot multipliers. In my opinion, these are excellent changes and actually exactly what DICE needed to do, which is shocking for me to say. It's kind of rare that DICE cooks like this, you know what I mean? DICE kind of cooked, which is like, what? The only thing I am skeptical about with these changes is the fact that DICE claims that the 1.9 headshot multiplier will essentially completely remove the ability from the AR and LMG weapon categories to kill you in 2 headshots and instead require you to hit 3 headshots. As far as I can tell, that is not true for weapons that do 28 damage, which within a certain damage range. Because if you take 28 damage, then multiply that by the headshot multiplier of 1.9, you still get over 50 damage. I believe it's 53.2 damage. So you can still get 2-shot headshot by weapons like the Scar, for instance, if you're within that 28 damage range. However, for weapons that do 26 damage or 25 or 24 or anything lower than that, these changes will prevent you from getting 2-shot headshotted, because of course if we take 26 times 1.9, you get 49.4 damage. So yes, you will have to hit 3 headshots with weapons that do 20, I think 6 and below damage. So unless DICE is nerfing the actual damage models of some of the weapons that still do 28 damage, they're not exactly correct, but still, these headshot multiplier changes are definitely a step in the right direction. SMG time to kill should feel more consistent. I know for a fact that I've headshot someone like 4 times with a submachine gun. It just feels terrible. That should no longer happen, and ARs should no longer, feel like they instantaneously kill you. So moving away from the headshot multiplier changes onto some vehicle-centric changes coming in Season 7. Before I jump into this, just to remind people, if you are enjoying the content or find this informative, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I do stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders. First link in the description, drop my channel a follow. Moving away from the headshot multiplier changes to the specifics of the vehicle changes, DICE claims that they are aware that ground vehicles currently face, quote, too many threats both from infantry and other vehicles, end quote. And this makes vehicle playstyles automatically very defensive, and the battles take place from extreme ranges. Now, DICE is actually getting roasted for this on Twitter. People aren't a fan of these changes because I think Battlefield players just don't understand what infantry versus vehicle balance is supposed to be like. Vehicles at this game are at a gigantic disadvantage. And I think the people that are complaining about these changes simply just don't want to die to vehicles and want all the power to be in the infantry's hands. DICE claiming that ground vehicles currently face too many threats from both infantry and other vehicles is actually completely spot on, and I'm surprised to see this take from them. And furthermore, I would extend that air vehicles also face far too many threats from both infantry and other vehicles as well. And I fully expect these statements from DICE to be fairly controversial, so let me know what you think about these specifically in the comment section. But from my experience playing in vehicles in, Battlefield 3, 4, 1, and a bunch of other Battlefield titles, compared to playing in vehicles in 2042, this is definitely accurate. You have to avoid so much garbage in 2042 that it makes the game extremely hard to actually play in a vehicle. DICE goes on to state that these changes are to give vehicles a bit more breathing room so they can help you push onto objectives more effectively, and to actually achieve this, they are increasing the time it takes for vehicles to get hacked by RAW, and they're also entirely removing the EMP grenade functionality from Casper's drone, which is absolutely phenomenal. I don't understand why Casper's drone was ever allowed to EMP really anything other than APS. And with RAW's ability now being able to remotely disable vehicles from like 200 meters, I think it absolutely should take longer to hack vehicles. So these changes are both excellent in my opinion, and were again long overdue. DICE then goes on to state that they have, quote, continued to work with the gadgets team to lower the amount of C5 from 3 to 2 on assault and recon classes, while engineers will have access to 3 C5. Anti-tank mines will now take 2 seconds to activate upon being placed, so they can no longer be used in the same fashion as C5, end quote. So again, they're sort of further emphasizing the importance of playing Engineer by making Engineer have 3 C5 and the only class that can access 3 C5, and they're also streamlining the use case scenario of mines. And if some of you are confused about what they're talking about with the activation time, people used to just run up to vehicles and throw mines and they'd instantly explode, so it was actually a better version of C5. They're not going to take 2 seconds to blow up, if that makes sense. They're going to take 2 seconds to arm on the ground. Other than that, they will still blow up instantly if a vehicle drives over it. Now, moving on to another full paragraph of changes here. So I mentioned the previous changes to RAW hack and Casper drone, but some of you are probably wondering, what about flares? What about vehicle countermeasures? Well, actually, they have increased the cooldown of vehicle flares. DICE claims that increasing the cooldown period for vehicle flares will, quote, encourage a healthier air and ground balance scenario. On top of the flare changes, DICE has also made some big changes to the WILDCAT. DICE said the WILDCAT is not where they want it to be, and it can often, quote, result in a very lopsided gameplay loop for either side. So in order to help with this, they are lowering the range of the WILDCAT's default main cannon, so it creates a window of opportunity for the WILDCAT pilot to actually kill incoming aggressive air vehicles, rather than sort of be able to guaranteed hit them from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of meters away, like they're able to do right now. On top of that, they are also completely removing the lock-on ability that exists in the Y-axis of the WILDCAT. And this essentially means you have to be accurate when you're trying to lock onto a vehicle. You can't be aiming off of the target and still get an accurate lock-on. And to further solidify the WILDCAT to its anti-air role that it was designed to actually do, they're removing the 40mm cannon entirely from the WILDCAT. So you won't be able to try to 1v1 tanks and then try to lock onto a helicopter. It is now a fully anti-air dedicated vehicle, as it should have been from the start of the game. Moving on to another full paragraph of changes. By the way, guys, this is not even the patch notes. The patch notes for Season 7 are going to be gigantic if they're tweeting stuff like this, and the video is going to be 10 minutes for me just going over these changes alone. It's kind of impressive, if I'm being completely honest with you. But the changes they're detailing in this paragraph are about first-person sensitivity on ground turret vehicles. As we know in 2042, it doesn't feel good to aim in a tank. It kind of feels, squishy and unresponsive and just generally terrible, but they're changing it in Season 7 so that you will now have a similar experience to zooming when driving around unzoomed. This will generally just make vehicles much more comfortable to play in, compared to previously. DICE importantly points out, though, that there will still be a turn rate cap or a threshold to prevent, quote, extreme cases of sensitivity, otherwise known as a tank turret instantaneously 180ing to kill you. So don't worry, they will not be able to do that. However, they have increased the turret speed on every single ground turret-related vehicle except the railgun tank or the EMKV Tor tank. The sensitivity rate can be changed within the options menu as well. DICE goes on to state that these changes are aimed at reshaping infantry and vehicle combat. They are not aimed at giving one side an advantage over the other side, but balancing them so that they can coexist. If you want to counter one or the other, you can do so successfully. So that paragraph is very coherent from DICE, and actually probably one of the most coherent sentences I've ever seen them type. And finally, they leave us with actually some very important information about upcoming changes as well as some important immediate changes. They will be increasing the available ammo counts of the RPG and recoilless rifle and all other equivalents by 1, as well in a later update, revisiting the system repair balance and Irish APS changes, and apparently Crawford's trait will benefit from these changes in a future update as well. So honestly, very comprehensive changes across the board here, headshot multiplier changes, vehicle changes that were long overdue, and I generally think that a lot of these changes, if not all of them, are extremely beneficial to the game and strangely coherent. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you want to find a lot of Battlefield content that you can't find anywhere else, definitely hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I will be putting out fully dedicated vehicle guides, fully dedicated settings and weapon attachment guides. I'll be doing detailed individual weapon guides for all of the new Season 7 weapons. I do tips and tricks videos. I do coaching sessions. That link is in the description if you want to sign up for a coaching session via Medify. So yeah, just a little self-plug here. I do put a lot of effort into the channel. I do try to provide a lot of variety with the Battlefield content, and I just try to deliver some different stuff here. There's nothing wrong with different stuff. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.